We have a lot of feedback coming in as it pertains to the hometown team, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the inaction at the trade deadline. Okay? So, I want to get to as much of Blazer fan feedback as we can here. This text says, I'm a patient fan and do not overreact to no trades if, quote, there weren't any good offers is the reason. What worries me is that Joe Cronin's inactivity has often been justified by, quote, we don't like the deals available. The more he says it, the less I'm inclined to believe him. And the more I think he either overvalues his talent or is too cautious with the deals on the table.
Sure, I think you can have that feeling.
Yeah.
But unless you kind of know the deals, you're projecting something. Look, I'm not going to get into them, but there are deals that were massive that I know of, sourced, nailed down to the bones, that they did not take, and I am so glad they did not do it. As a fan, you should be thrilled that they did not proceed on those transactions. So I know that they're taking and making calls on big swings.
Yeah.
And that they have in the past, and they have with talks of like going after guys. Denny is not in the same vein, but did anybody know that Denny Avdia was available?
No, but I don't think that was a big swing. Right?
I think anytime you're dealing 2 first-round picks for a guy, that is a big swing.
Yeah, but one of those was your second first-round pick that
I'm not talking.
Both of them were. None of them were their own.
No, but again, that's not nothing. And again, I have said specifically that pick was not as valuable as your typical first-round pick. But
look, Denny Avdia better than Bob Carrington.
Yeah, not only that, like the number of people that I've talked to after that transaction that were followed up with some version of like, man, if we would have known, like we would have. So very clearly, they're making calls on the guys that they target.
Yeah, but they are being very cautious. And part of a rebuild to land a star eventually is you've got to take some big swings though too, right? And I think that.
In that vein is trading Jeremy Grant for different money in second-round picks. Any semblance of a big swing.
What do you mean by different money? Like I like
breaking it down into smaller contracts or a different version of bad money.
Yeah.
If you think Jeremy, if you're somebody who thinks that Jeremy's value is completely cheeks, okay. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying if you're they just need to do it or whatever.
No,
okay.
I feel like it'll be hard to move $32, $34, $36 million. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I do. I don't think that his value is cheeks though. But
but here's what I'm saying. If you're somebody, if you're a Blazers fan who says you just need to do it because you're the guy on the text line who's screaming about minutes, which, God, that's just insane. But if you're that person, or if you're somebody who thinks like that, you're going to take back bad money in return, and you're not going to get draft capital that's meaningful. So what the hell kind of swing is it?
Right. But if you get it, so in this situation, Jeremy Grant is under contract through 2027 with that player option, right?
Yeah.
To go 27-28. He's going to take that because it's at $36 million. It's a lot of money.
I mean, in that cap structure, it might not be, but still a lot of money.
So Jeremy Grant, though, that's going to be a more difficult contract to move just with the way the CBA is built right now. And if you're going to send him to a team that obviously if you're trading for him, you would think that you were in a window to win, right? That makes it a little bit more difficult. But if you do the deal where maybe you get a couple of expiring deals, right, more attractive, and you break those up, can't you continue that flip? And that's kind of the risk that you're taking, though. But that is a risk that in order to get this team to a position where they can land a star, right? Jeremy Grant is a good player. And Jeremy Grant's play has won the Blazers games, and so has Anthony Simons' play, who's won Blazers games. DeAndre Ayton, obviously, 25-20 the other night in an overtime win against the Phoenix Suns. He is playing well enough to win you basketball games that make those odds further and further away from where you want to be. You're not going to get a star in free agency in Portland, Oregon. So it's going to be 1, by trade, or 2, via the draft. And the Blazers right now are not positioning themselves to win either one of those, right?
Sure.
I think that is where the frustration is.
And I think that the pushback I'd have is you got development out of guys. You got the thing that you wanted to get, that you set out this year that was important to you. And if you didn't, and you went down a path, like, again, we can go back. We can take this winning streak out of this. You look at that. I'll keep going back to that 5 wins that they got that they didn't. It was like, where the hell did these come from? Like, if you played those 5 games 100 more times, they at best they probably go 1-4 just on a normal occasion. And if you put them in that position, do they ever actually get out of what they were? Because they won 9 of the last 10. Does this run happen if they're just so far in the tank out of the gate that you're just like they were what, 22 wins, so they were at 13 wins. Let's run it back. They were at 10 or 11 wins, in late December, early January, and you're just like, oh, I mean, you're only a couple games ahead of the Wizards and the Jazz. Like, you're in that spot, and then you just turn everything off, and you go down that stretch, and it's just miserable from January until April.
Yeah, I think that is what fans brace themselves for, though, in tanking. And like, we have a texter says, the Spurs didn't seem to be too worried when they were tanking for Wemby to be about player development.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. There's not a player on that team that they're concerned about with going forward other than De'Aaron Fox.
But they have the star.
Yeah.
They have the star.
Okay.
And like
but that's the thing, is this sure, Dusty, absolutely. I'm with you.
Yeah.
This city will not, and will never be with you on that. They say they will. They are not willing to put up with any kind of actual tank.
But that's the thing, though, is that's what gets you the star. And look, I would be willing
they want to love Scoot. They want to love Shaden. They want to love Tu. They want to love Denny. Everyone's a Blazers legend. That's what this city is about. They are not an all or nothing city.
I think that, to the point, we're getting so many texts right now and you said this, that they don't just play the young guys, give them minutes. Who cares about development? Right? Like, that's just run them out there. That's what the Spurs did. And there's a large swath of Blazer fans.
They played Jeremy Sohan at point guard.
Yeah, there's a large swath of Blazer fans that do agree with that. And you're saying that the city doesn't. I think there's a lot of them that do.
Oh, no, they don't.
I really do.
Brother.
I know, but
I talk to them every night. No, they don't.
The largest, you know this too, the most vocal minority.
Yeah.
The most vocal is the minority.
I'm talking about
who cares?
No. I'm talking about the greater fan base. They don't. It is not an all or nothing sum game. It is not.
I feel
the Blazers organization, like, they've done polls, they've done the research. Like, it's not that this fan base is different than most fan bases in sports. It is 100% true, and you could argue until you're blue in the face on the text messages, guys. I've seen the stuff that goes behind.
Guess what? It's we all know that that's how you are going to fix this. So who cares what those people think?
They're your consumers.
Honest. No, but I'm being honest.
That's exactly the people you have to think about and cater to.
But you know what? You get that star, they're going to come back and they're going to be happy. Like, that's the reality.
They turned away for 5 years, Dusty.
Because of the Jailblazers?
Yes.
Yeah, you win and you get the star, they'll come back.
They didn't win, though. They came back the second they got LaMarcus and Brandon.
Okay. But you know what?
They definitely weren't winning.
Where were those guys drafted? Both of those guys were top 7 picks in the NBA draft.
2 and 6, yeah.
2 and 6. Mm-hmm. And then they started winning. Like, they did. They came back because they were like, hey, guess what?
And they just drafted a guy number 3, didn't they?
We finally got this. Who's not that guy?
Okay, but
I mean, we all know it. We saw Brandon Roy. We saw Brandon Roy, and we said, that guy's different.
But this fan base is absolutely convinced he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that people think he is.
Oh, go to commercial break. Go hop on Reddit.
503.
Go to Blazers Edge. Go check the comments. Yeah.